Hello guys, welcome and welcome back to our channel True Crime Tales. This is a place where we present to you different crime stories that have taken place all around the world, and this one here is just one of those stories. And if you wish to see more of our videos, kindly please consider subscribing and ring that notification bell for more updates and more notifications on the videos that we upload. In today's episode, we cover the sad story of Cosmas Mutunga, who was found brutally murdered in one of the biggest hospitals in Central and Eastern Africa, that is Kenyatta National Hospital. He had been badly beaten and one of his eyes had been gouged out. So this is what happened for him to get himself at the Kenyatta National Hospital until his demise. Cosmas was leading a very normal life, living with his wife and 4 children until June 2015, when he began having issues with his health because his right eye could not move properly. His right ear could also not hear properly. It seems like he was losing the hearing sense in his right eye. He was having headaches, and he was also having nasal blockage. That is when he decided to visit the Kenyatta National Hospital for treatment. He went at the hospital on 14th October 2015 and he was given an appointment of 16th October 2015 where tests were to be run on him to determine what was ailing him. Tests were run on him and it was established that he had brain cancer. So he became an outpatient at the Kenyatta National Hospital, but his condition worsened, so he had to be rushed back at the hospital on 5th of November 2015 at the emergency and accident area. The doctor found out that he had a severe anemia, and so he was admitted to Ward 8D, and later on, after his blood level improved, he was moved to Ward 8C. That is where patients with chronic diseases are. He began his chemotherapy, and later on it was established that chemotherapy was not the only reason as to why he was moved to this ward. Apparently, he had complained about feeling uncomfortable, that his life could be in danger, so he wanted to be changed from that ward to a different ward. According to some of his family members, he had land disputes with some of his relatives back in his home county in Kitui. He continued with his treatment until on 28th February when he met his death. On that particular day, his wife and his brother had come to visit him and they stayed with him up to 6 p.m. That is when the visitation hour was over, and they left him in good condition and in high spirits too, only for them to come back for the bad news. He went to bed with hopes of seeing his family again as he told them bye-bye. The staff members who was on duty that night, they were Senior Nursing Officer Priscilla Njeru, Senior Enrolled Nurse Godfrey Geshora, the locum nurse Rosemary Nkonke, and the cleaning lady Mary Kamau. They reported that all entrances and exits were locked, that is by 12 midnight. A new day has now begun, that is Sunday 29th February. At around 4 a.m. that night, Priscilla Njeru, who was Mutunga's primary nurse, she was doing her daily routine, that is her rounds in the wards, and she noticed that Mutunga was very sick, or rather he looked sick. However, his breathing rate was okay. She checked some of his vital signs and then left, only to come after 1 hour and find a horrible scene in Mutunga's room. She had come to administer medication to Mutunga, but she noticed that something was off in that room. Blood was all over the room and Mutunga was also lying in a pool of blood. So she decided to wipe off the blood from his face to check if he was alive or not. that is when she noticed that Mutunga was no longer breathing. She informed her colleagues, who later on reported the occurrence to the security control room. The security arrived at that room, which was officially declared a crime scene, and they did notice that there was a bloody, blunt metallic object, a metal bracket that was just next to Mtunga's bed. It did appear to be the murder weapon. They did an inspection of that room, and one thing that was shocking to them was the fact that the metal bracket was very similar to the ones supporting shelves in that Ward C. This gave them a clue that maybe the one who attacked Mutunga was just someone from the hospital facility. These metal brackets were always stored in a place near the nurse desks, and the place was always locked and the key kept in one of the drawers at the nursing desk. So this meant that whoever attacked Mutunga was someone who had an access to that key, and there were no signs of breaking, meaning the person just took the key, opened that place, and took out that metal bracket to attack Mutunga with. The police from Kilimani police station were called, and they arrived at the crime scene at 9:30 a.m. to begin their investigations. Unfortunately for them, that one person of the patient who shared a room with Mutunga could not be of much help because the young man was called Clement, and he had a speaking and hearing impairment. So he did witness that incident, but he could not speak, and he could also not hear what the attackers said. Therefore, the police had to rely on sign language interpreters and his parents to determine what he was telling them. According to Clement, an older woman came into the room carrying a bag with a young man, and they were just dressed officially. They did not have those staff uniforms. The young man then removed the metal bracket from his clothes and then started attacking Mutunga. It was also revealed that the two, that is the older woman and the young man who attacked Mutunga, did not bother about the presence of Clement, which meant to the police that these two were aware that Clement could not speak or hear, so they were not bothered for the fact that he witnessed what they were doing there. Mutunga's family was informed of the sad news, and of course it was painful to them. The family was taken to Ward 8C, where they viewed and identified the body of Mutunga. Afterwards, the lifeless body was taken to Kenyatta mortuary, and the family and those staff who were on duty that night all headed to Kilimani police station to record their statements. This incident got the attention of many people, and everyone wanted an explanation as to what happened from the family and the public at large. The CEO at the Kenyatta National Hospital had to assure people that investigations were being carried on to determine what really happened to Mutunga. An autopsy was done on Mutunga's body on 7th December 2015, and it was determined that he suffered 42 stab wounds, with one of his eyes gouged out and one leg broken. It was surprising that the nurses who were at the nursing station didn't hear anything. They didn't hear any scream coming from Mutunga's room, and therefore the investigators came up with 3 theories. 1. His murder was not random because of the way that he was murdered. According to the way that he lost his life, it seemed like it was a planned attack on him. Secondly, they thought that maybe he was given a sedative drug, so the blood samples were taken to the lab for testing, but unfortunately the results were never reported because a report was never given. And the last theory was that whoever attacked Mtunga had an inside connection, given the fact that the murder weapon was taken from a place near the nursing station, and the only way to access it was using the key from the hospital. Unfortunately, there were no CCTV cameras on the other grounds from first floor up to the one on top, so they could not see what really happened. CCTV were only installed on ground floor alone. He was buried on 12th December, and his family had not yet known what really happened to him until September of 2016, when the two nurses, Godfrey and Priscilla, plus the lady who was cleaning, they were held accountable for his death. Nurse Rosemary's job as a locum nurse was terminated. Their fellow nurses held a protest demanding that they should be released because their duties as nurses did not include providing security to patients. This led to a release of the four on 14th November on a 300,000 bail each. They were ordered to be reporting to Kilimani police station every 2 weeks. A committee was then formed towards the end of 2016, and it came to an end in February 2017. They concluded that the culprit was assisted from a staff member from the hospital, but that was it, despite investigation being carried out by the hospital, the police, and the security team, and the parliament. Judge Lesit ended the case on 20th of May 2019 with the four suspects resuming their job at the hospital. So that was the sad ending of this case, but one could say that maybe proper investigations were not done, given the fact that the person who committed the crime could have been one of the people who worked at the hospital, or could have been aided by a person who worked at the hospital, or if it was a neighbor who had a relative who had a problem with Mtunga back at home, maybe they could have interrogated the family members to get to the bottom of the case, but that was never done. Anyway, let me know what you think about this case in the comment section, and remember to give the video a like, subscribe if you haven't. I'll be seeing you in the next video, and if more updates on the case come up, I'll for sure bring them up. See you.